23 billion. Lu Xingrong collapsed back into his chair. He was panting heavily. I opened another account. Xu Meng's 20 million had now turned into over 300 million. It wasn't over yet. At 3:20 a.m., the price continued its plunge. Finally, it settled at negative $37.63. Lu Xingrong stared blankly at that number. He slowly turned to look at me. His gaze was like he was looking at a monster. He said, "Kid, should I just bow down to you right now?" I burst out laughing, while he remained in a daze. 23 billion. Good God. He jumped up and grabbed my hand. Brother, why the hell am I still doing real estate? Let's just become professional derivatives traders together. After a sleepless night, the domestic derivatives market opened at 9 a.m., with the international market crashing last night. The morning session here was guaranteed to follow suit. This was the opportunity I needed. I opened the trading interface and started placing orders. Rebar, hot-rolled coils, glass, cement, anything the project needed. The bid prices were set ridiculously low. In the other account, I had already closed out the short positions. Near the $0 mark, I flipped my strategy and went long on crude oil. Right now, oil was still under $10. It was cheaper than bottled water, but I knew that before long, the conflict in the north would push oil prices up to $130. Buying now was like picking up free money. I didn't leave Lu Xingrong's account idle either. I took 1 billion out of the 23 billion. And bit by bit, I opened long positions. Crude oil, copper, rubber. I bought a little of everything available. At 9:30, the first batch of orders was filled. 10:00, the second batch. 11:00, the third. Watching the transaction log scroll continuously on the screen, the corner of my mouth curled up. That's enough. 2 p.m. management meeting. I walked into the conference room. Everyone was already there. Lu Xingrong sat at the head of the table. His face was beaming. CEO Chen is here. Have a seat. Have a seat. I sat down. I scanned the room. The CFO, Manager Li from the construction department, the marketing director, and several VPs were all present. Lu Xingrong cleared his throat and got straight to the point. The funding for Phase 1 is secured. Everyone looked at each other in confusion.
Lu Xingrong pointed at me.
Guess what? How much did CEO Chen make for the company last night? He held up 2 fingers. He increased it several times over. He signaled 23 as in 23 billion. From 200 million in capital. He made 23 billion last night. The entire room erupted into chaos. CFO Li bolted upright from his chair. The chair was pushed back violently. He stared at me with wide eyes. His mouth was open, but no words came out. I waved my hand. Manager Li, please sit down. I addressed everyone. The market was just in a strong trend. It was just perfect timing. Lu Xingrong laughed loudly. He had completely lost his usual composure. Did you all see the news? Crude oil prices went negative yesterday. Who could just happen to catch an opportunity like that? I certainly don't have that kind of luck, but it doesn't matter.
CEO Chen does.
He has the skill to seize this fortune. He leaned his hands on the table and stood up. This is great. Phase 1 funding is ready. Phase 2 won't be an issue either. We can now go all in on the Southwest District project. Thunderous applause filled the room. Lu Xingrong waited for the clapping to die down. Then he dropped another bombshell. To everyone in the company, including the cleaning staff, everyone gets an 8,000 yuan bonus. And for those working overtime lately, your overtime pay will be doubled. It was after 4 p.m. Xu Meng brought in a thermos and gave me some soup. I noticed her expression was a bit strange. I asked her what was wrong. I think I just saw my brother.
Shuhai. Yeah.
Right there in the first floor lobby. As the elevator doors were closing, I saw someone who looked exactly like him. I think he saw me too, but he didn't come up. I said he was probably here for business. Lately, many companies have been coming by looking for contracts. I called the sales manager. I told him to check on it. A few minutes later, the phone rang. CEO Chen. I found him. A manager named Xu was just here, but their company hasn't received any orders yet. CEO Chen, should I arrange something for them? I smiled. If there's a suitable spot, you can set something up. That company has some ties to our shareholders, but no need for special treatment. Just follow the standard procedure. Understood. I hung up. Xu Meng looked at me. Did you arrange something for them? It was no trouble at all, but I didn't expect that this simple gesture would end up causing me trouble. I got home around dusk. As soon as I walked in, I saw Xu Meng sitting on the sofa. Her eyes were red and puffy. It was obvious. She had just been crying. My heart tightened.
What's wrong, honey?
She shook her head and said nothing. Chan Qian ran over and hugged her. Mommy's crying. I knelt down and asked Chan Qian.
What happened, sweetie?
Chan Qian's little face was pouting. She said angrily, "We went to eat today. Grandpa hit Mommy, and he called her a shameless woman." Fury immediately surged within me. That old man caused a scene at the hospital and threatened to jump. I was the one who went up there and brought him down. And now he turns around and hits my wife. I took a deep breath to suppress my rage. I gripped Xu Meng's shoulders firmly, making her look me in the eye. Meng, whatever it is, just tell me. I will never let anyone bully you." Her tears started flowing again. She buried her face in my chest and hugged me tight. Don't ask.
Zuisheng, I'm begging you, don't ask.
I can't bring myself to say it. I held her and gently patted her back. Once she calmed down a bit, I turned to ask Chan Qian, "Was your uncle there too?"
Yes.
I pulled out my phone and called Zhu Hai directly. "Zhu Hai, what the hell happened today?" He was stunned for a moment, then his tone shifted instantly.
You have the nerve to ask me.
Chen Zuisheng, you're something else? Pushing your own wife into the fire. And now you're acting like you don't know anything. I gripped the phone tight. Speak clearly. You want it clear? Fine. You sold my sister to Lu Xingrong as his mistress, just so you could get rich, didn't you? Xiaoyu's classmate took photos? At the car show, Liu Xingrong bought your wife a car. A Mercedes worth millions right off the bat. And I saw it with my own eyes, my sister going to Yuanjing Group, carrying a thermos. She even used the chairman's private elevator. Selling your wife for glory. Chen Zuisheng, do you have no shame at all? I held the phone in silence. So that was it. That's the humiliation she had to endure at the dinner table. All those relatives looking at her like that, saying such twisted, sarcastic things. Her own father slapped her in front of everyone. All because of a car and an elevator. Over something that wasn't even true. My heart ached for her. And then a cold rage took over. Xu Meng sat on the sofa, her head down, her shoulders trembling slightly. I took a deep breath. I spoke every word with icy precision.
HUCU High, your company.
The orders you recently got from Yuanjing Group. You were counting those as your big achievements, right? The other end of the line went quiet for a second. What's that supposed to mean? Those orders are gone. And that house your family got scammed out of. I was going to pull some strings to speed up the process and get it back to you sooner. Now you can just sit back and wait. For at least 3 years, Chen Zuisheng, I hung up. I tossed the phone onto the coffee table. Xu Meng looked up at me. Her eyes were bloodshot, tears were still wet on her cheeks. I walked over and pulled her into my arms. I whispered that it was okay now. I'm here. Chan Qian ran over and hugged both of our legs. Early the next morning, the marketing director called. CEO Chen, that manager Xu from the other company is here again. Hez asking why the cooperation was terminated. I gave a cold laugh. Tell him this. He offended a major shareholder of our group. Tell him to go home and think about what he did. If he doesn't get it, then from now on, his company in Ninghai won't get a single order ever again. I hung up and went back to my documents. I could imagine the look on Xu Hei's face when he heard that. Doing real estate marketing in Ninghai and somehow offending a shareholder of Yuanjing Group. What does that even mean? It's basically a death sentence for his career in this city. In the afternoon, the marketing director called again. CEO Chen, the president of their company is here now too. Hez with manager Xu. I used the in a meeting excuse to turn them away. Not seeing them. I smiled faintly. Just leave them there. Don't worry about it. The next day, as soon as I sat down at my desk, the marketing director called yet again. Boss Chen, manager Xu and their president Yang are back. What are your orders? I glanced at my watch. 9:30 a.m. I made them wait for 2 hours yesterday, and they're already back first thing this morning. Looks like they're truly terrified. Take them to the large conference room. The large conference room, sir. Boss Chen, today is the supplier meeting. Exactly. Let them join that one. The other end went silent for a second. Understood. I hung up. I gathered the documents on my desk. That Southwest District project, the main contractor is Yuanjing City Construction. Old Town renovation, plus the Riverside expansion. The scale is massive. Our company can't handle it all alone. Steel, cement, advertising, exhibitions. All the suppliers had to gather today, so I could lay down the rules. At exactly 10 a.m., I pushed open the doors to the large conference room. The room was packed. I scanned the crowd. I spotted Xu Hai and President Yang. Since they were late, they were stuck on 2 folding chairs against the wall. They looked completely out of place. It was impossible not to notice them. Xu Hai's eyes locked onto me. His expression froze instantly. His mouth hung open, his eyes bulging. He stood there like he'd been turned to stone. I didn't give him a second glance. I walked straight up to the podium. Good morning, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Chen Zuisheng. I am the new CEO of Yuanjing Group. Whispers broke out among the crowd. People started exchanging looks of surprise. I invited you all here today because of the Southwest District project, the Old Town renovation, the Tanjiang expansion. I don't need to tell you how massive it is. Everyone sitting here, over the next 3 years, will get a share of the profits from this project. But there's one thing. My voice dropped. All suppliers must operate in unison.
Unified action. Material standards.
Construction schedules and inspection processes, everything must follow the plan exactly. Anyone who messes up is out. I scanned the room.
Yuanjing takes the lion's share.
And you get the rest. But how that's divided?
It's up to me.
The audience was silent for a few seconds. Then someone spoke up. Don't worry, President Chen. Well, definitely cooperate. Just give the word, President Chen. Well, follow your lead. The chatter died down. But excitement was written all over their faces. Back in the office, I hadn't even been sitting for 10 minutes. When Xu Yingying called, President Chen, President Yang and Manager Xu are here to see you. Send them in. The door opened and a beaming President Yang walked in. He reached out for a handshake immediately. Ah, President Chen, when I met you at the company last time, I knew you had an extraordinary aura. I didn't expect that in such a short time. You'd become the CEO of Yuanjing. Truly young and talented. I gave his hand a light squeeze. You're too kind, President Yang. Tuhei followed behind and stood at the doorway. He was stuck, unable to move forward or retreat. I didn't even spare him a single glance. Xu Yingying brew a cup of tea for Director Yang. Xu Yingying gave a quick acknowledgement. She brought over a cup of tea and placed it right in front of Director Yang. Tuhei stood there, frozen like a statue. His expression shifted constantly, turning from flushed red to deathly pale. There was no tea served for him. Director Yang's eyes darted around. A shrewd man of the world like him could obviously tell there was bad blood between Tuhei and me. But he also knew that Tuhei and I were related. So there were things he couldn't just say out loud. I cut straight to the chase. Director Yang, you're here to secure a project, aren't you? He froze for a moment. I pointed directly at Tuhei. If his situation isn't dealt with, your company won't be getting a single project. Tuhei's face twisted in shock. Director Yang hurriedly rushed over to pull him aside. Xiao Tu. He grabbed Tuhei by the arm. Come on now. Whatever the issue is, we can talk it through. If you've done something wrong, just apologize to President Chen, and we can move past this. Tuhei was seething with rage. His face was completely drained of color. Director Yang looked at him, then back at me. Then he spoke up. President Chen, how about I let you two talk things over first? I'll wait outside. He pushed the door open and stepped out. Only Tuhei and I remained in the room. I leaned back against the sofa and stared at him. Tuhei, do you have any idea which shareholder of the Vision Group you've managed to offend? He looked dazed for a moment. I told him it wasn't me. To me, you're a nobody. The person you offended is my wife, your sister, Xu Meng. She is currently one of the shareholders of Yuanjing Group. Xu Hei's eyes widened. How is that possible? I gave a cold snort. I told you I lived in a garden villa, and you didn't believe me. I told you your sister was a shareholder, and you didn't believe that either. So what did you see in that meeting room just now? And what are you seeing right now? Standing here. His Adam's apple bobbed as he swallowed hard. I picked up my phone. Should I call Chairman Liu? Let him tell you himself, who attended the last Yuanjing Group shareholders meeting. Xu Hai was completely catatonic, standing before me. He looked like a piece of wood struck by lightning. That evening, after Qian Qian fell asleep, Xu Meng finished her shower and crawled into bed, hugging me tightly. I wrapped my arms around her. We were silent for a moment. She whispered, Zuisheng, thank you. She didn't say what for. She just rested her head on my chest. Sometimes, looking back, it all feels like a dream. Our family being like this. Qian Qian is healthy again. Business is going well. And we have such a nice place to live. She paused for a moment. It's just, thinking back to our wedding makes me a little sad. It was so simple. No one from your family came, and my parents were like that. We didn't even have a proper ceremony. She buried her face in my chest. She didn't say anything else. I held her without a word, but an indescribable emotion welled up inside me. When we got married, I hadn't been reborn yet. My old self was a gambling addict who didn't care about the wedding at all. Xu Meng had defied her entire family to marry him. Enduring that pathetic wedding, since she said that, I should make it up to her with a real wedding. I'll marry her all over again. Feeling her warmth against my chest, my heart suddenly stirred with an unusual intensity. No sooner thought than done. The next day was Sunday. I woke up very early. Xu Meng was still asleep. I gently kissed her forehead and headed straight to Ninghai's oldest jewelry store, a place specializing in custom designs. After hearing my request, the manager brought out a box. Mr. Chen, you're in luck. We just received a flawless 5-carat D-color diamond. Its cut and fire are absolutely perfect. Inside was a raw diamond. Under the lights, it looked as pure as a condensed drop of water. This stone is extraordinary. We just haven't found a client worthy of it yet. If you agree, well, begin crafting it immediately. How long will it take to make it here? About 3 hours, sir. I nodded. Do it. 2 hours later, a perfect round diamond sat on a black velvet cloth. Every facet reflected tiny sparks of light, like holding a star in the palm of my hand. When I got home, Xu Meng had just woken up. She was wandering the living room in her pajamas. Qian Qian was lying on the sofa drawing. I walked over to her side, dropped to one knee, and pulled out the ring box.
Xu Meng froze.
The last wedding doesn't count. This time, it's me. Chen Zuisheng wants to marry you. She covered her mouth. Tears instantly welled up. She was speechless, only able to nod. Nodding frantically, Qian Qian jumped off the sofa and rushed over. Mommy's crying. Daddy's bullying Mommy. Xu Meng laughed through her tears. Hez not bullying me. She choked up, unable to continue. She just hugged me tightly. I gently slid the ring onto her ring finger. It was a perfect fit.